So hi guys, welcome back to my channel once again. Today is 3rd of June 2021, and I quickly want to look at updates on 4 different coins and talk about what I am expecting so that you guys will know what to do next. So first on my list is BTC, and I'll be analyzing this using different indicators, and I want to try my best to be fast and straightforward. So first thing first, what you can see here is you're seeing the weekly time frame where we have this bearish engulfing candlestick with a continuation to the downside. So what we need to understand here is, will this continue to push downward? It's a matter of you trying to understand how this trend works. So what I normally do is whenever I get this kind of setup, I quickly move down to the daily time frame to check what is actually happening. So let's move down to the daily time frame. So what we have here, this is the daily time frame. So I'll be doing one chart pattern. Two, I'll be using some other indicators to show you guys what I think would happen. So first thing first, let's find those levels of support and resistance. So as you can see, we had this complex head and shoulder around here, this complex head and shoulder before price dropped, which I talked about this as well. If you have not watched this video where we had this complex head and shoulder, please go back and check the link up here, and you would see the video for you to watch this. Now, first thing first, I'll be using an indicator, then I would go down to lower time frame to use the chart pattern which is forming around here. So now let's use this indicator, and I'm going to explain this very well for you guys to understand. Now, first thing first, this is the daily time frame, and the settings you're seeing here, this is what we call the doubled cloud settings. So I'm going to start by using the default settings. This is the default settings. In my signal group, I dropped a lot of signals in which what I keep telling people is this: whenever you see this red EME, this is called the Kijun, is going totally flat. And okay, let me remove the price. And you see the Tenken, which is the blue EME here, is moving far away from this. This is called TK disequilibrium or C clamp. What it's trying to say is price has moved far, very fast from being at equilibrium. Normally, Ichimoku wants everything to be at equilibrium. So what you're going to see here when you get this flat cloud, flat Kijun rather, is price would pull back up to test this flat Kijun. And why do we call it C clamp? You can see the shape of this around here. You can see that shape. It has a C shape here. So that's why we call it a C clamp or a TK disequilibrium. So it is very important for us to know whenever you see this is going totally flat, it's not trying to turn down to get a TK bearish angulation to the downside. So we're going to see some kind of move back up to test this level here, only if it can break out from what I'm seeing here again. So now take note of this. Just because I'm saying it's going to move to this level doesn't mean I am 100% bullish on this kind of move. Now, I'm going to explain that. This is what I mean here. Now, let's take for it. Let's look at this very well. Look at this carefully well. Look at from November 5th last year. You can see how the cloud twisted. Let me remove this so that I can explain this very well. So I've removed the price. So now you can see how the price twisted from this is the red cloud, and it twisted from this red cloud to the green cloud. And you can see all the way from November last year to this, we did not get any red cloud. Now, everything in this Ichimoku is totally bearish. When I mean everything, I mean I'm talking about the metrics. When I talk about the metrics, I said this green EMA here is called the Chico span. This red flat EMA here is called the Kijun Sin. Why this is called the Tenkan Sin. Why this is the future cloud. So everything has flipped bearish. When I would think of saying, okay, we are bullish is when everything here flips back up, just like what we had here. You can see the blue EMA, the red EMA, and this, they went back up after this turned green. So until that, I would remain slightly bearish. So we need a very strong push to the upside to change this trend. So now let's go down to the lower time frame again. Let's take, for example, 4 hours time frame now. Now there are a lot I'm going to explain here. So we have this. I also talked about this symmetry triangle here. I talked about this symmetry triangle here. So I talked about this major symmetry triangle here. Now, what we're seeing here is called a symmetry triangle. I've talked about this in my previous video. We want this to break out and close above the down sloping resistance. It is very, very, very important for this to close above the down sloping resistance. If we don't get that close, there is no way we are going to see price moving back up. Now, you know, when I opened this Ichimoku, I talked about the doubled cloud. So now I've talked about the default settings. Let's talk about the doubled cloud. Doubled cloud settings is 20, 60, 120, and 30. So one of the rules about this doubled cloud settings, what you're seeing here, we call this an edge-to-edge trade. When I say an edge-to-edge trade, you can see price was below this green EMA that is under. You can see this cloud has two different EMA. One is red, one is green. So now this green EMA, you can see price, the rejection week went in and out. But what we wanted to see is, one, we want this. We want the TK bullish cross, which is the blue EMA will cross the red from bottom to top, and the body of the candlestick will close inside the cloud. Now, there are two ways you can trade this. First thing first, you're going to trade the edge to edge. Now it has broken the resistance, the cloud resistance from bottom, and it is inside. Now there's high probability we're going to get this, get to this level here. That's one. Two, one of the rules of Ichimoku is if you're trading higher time frame, it's not advisable for you to trade anything inside the cloud. So if you want to open a long position, you want everything to be clear. You want the your Chico span, your Tenken, your Kijun, everything to be above the cloud, and the price should be above the cloud so that you would know what you're about to do. Okay, now this is the magic here now. Now take a look at this. I'm going to put this price here, this price tag here, to show you guys how the relationship between the C clamp or the TK disequilibrium and this edge to edge. Now look at this. I said you can trade this from here to this, but you need to be very careful. Take note of the down sloping resistance, which is holding price down for now. Now look at this edge to edge. Look at this target here. Now look at this target. Now I'm going to flip this back to the default settings. Default settings. Now I'm going to take it back to daily time frame. Now do you see? I've taken it back to the daily time frame. Now do you see the connection between the daily time frame of the default settings, which is giving us the target of this Kijun here, and the 4 hours time frame of the doubled cloud settings, which is giving us the edge to edge trade back to the upside. I don't know if you guys understand this very well. I'll take that one more time. I said on the daily time frame, using the default settings, which is 9/26/52/26, we had this C clamp, which is also called a TK disequilibrium. Now, whenever we get this, there is high probability that price will test the Kijun. Now, we're looking at a target of this price returning back to this Kijun. Now, this is the daily time frame using the default settings. Now, I want to switch it back to the doubled cloud settings, which is 20, 60, 120, 30. Now, the doubled cloud settings on a 4 hours time frame. Did you see the relationship? That same target, just as the flat Kijun. So we need to be very, very careful. So most times we can see, we'll see something like this. Price will move a bit like this, and move back up, hold on, break out, hold on to this level. So whenever you see this price moving outside this cloud here, trying to stay here, you will notice that the Chico span would be around inside the cloud. So if we want to take a long position, we want everything to stay outside the cloud. It should not be below the cloud if you want to go long. So those are the metrics which I want them to flip back to the bullish side, so that I would know if we are going back to the upside. So we need to be very, very, very careful, very, very careful. What I work with is I work with the chart patterns, which will also give you your levels here. Will also give you your levels, and levels are very, very important in technical analysis. If you don't know your levels, I think you have to go back to learn that. So let's go down to lower time frame so that I can switch to Ethereum. Let's go to 15 minutes time frame here. Okay. Okay, this first one I'm gonna do here. Just this. So we need to be very careful when you're talking about double bottom. Though I will be dropping a lot of short videos explaining all these chart patterns. Why do we call it a double bottom? Double bottom will have these two levels. They will be at the same level, but you can see this is lower than this. So this is not a double bottom. This is what we call an ascending triangle chart pattern. I dropped a video on ascending triangle chart pattern. If you haven't watched that, please go back and watch that so that you understand how this ascending triangle chart pattern works. So for now, we want this to break out, then we'll take it to the upside. If the body of the candlestick closes above this, we'll see more price move to the upside. Let me delete this, go to the daily time frame here, and so we want to keep an eye on this level around here. So we'll have this, and price should range within this level of supply and demand zone. So if we don't get that breakout above the down sloping resistance, which we saw on the 4 hours time frame, we're not going to get price testing this level of resistance. So the next one on my list is ETH prep. I think I have a signal on that. Yeah, I have a signal on that. So again, I talked about, I made a video explaining how this this bullish 1 2 3 4 move work, but I'm going to remove this and show you guys what is building up here. So basically we're seeing a lot of coins showing this classical chart pattern called the ascending triangle. So I'm going to go down to 4 hours time frame here, 4 hours time frame here. So we have this also forming, but in this case, this is not an ascending triangle chart pattern. This is called an inverted head and shoulder chart pattern. So I'm going to expand this and explain this clearly. So this is this way, it works this way down to this level. So this, we're going to make this to be 2. And we'll have this right shoulder. We'll have the head here. And we have the left shoulder here. So one of the most important thing about this inverted head and shoulder is that price must close above this down sloping resistance, and this down sloping resistance can also be called the neckline. The neckline is very, very important. So how do we measure this? We'll take the height from the neckline down to the head, and then we'll drag this and drop it here. So when we drag this and drop it here, we'll take the target level, which is this. Now, just because you're seeing this doesn't mean, that, okay, since I'm seeing a target of 4,012, okay, that is where price will head to. No, you have to wait for that valid breakout. Now, when I say valid breakout, I mean you can see how price is respecting this level. Why? We had 1 here, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's a psychological level where the buyers and seller fight really hard to see who would take over the market. So at this point now, price is leaning on this level, trying to see if it could just break out from this level. So once we get a breakout and the body of the candlestick closes above this down sloping resistance, we're going to get more push to the upside. So, and again, lastly, let me look at the daily time frame to see. Okay, let's quickly look at the coming guys, the double cloud settings. Okay, on the 4 hours time frame, double cloud setting, just the same thing I explained. I talked about the edge to edge. You can see it around here. So let me delete this. I talked about the edge to edge. So you can see it's moving close to the flat cloud. And if I drop this again, flat cloud here, so we're looking at this target. So for now, all we want to do now is to wait for this perfect breakout from this down sloping resistance. So once we get that, we're going to get new prices coming in. Maybe a push back to the previous all-time high. And if we don't get that, then price would actually push back down. And at the same time, I think we had this bullish divergence, which is from here up and from here at the same time down this way. So it's very important. You guys need to check all this to see which and which will fit in before you open a long position. So next on my list is BNB prep. I'm going to be very fast with this. Don't want to stay too long. Okay, let's go down to the lower time frame. Okay, I had a signal on this which is still running. So I talked about an ascending triangle chart pattern. An ascending triangle chart pattern is a chart pattern where it has horizontal resistance and up sloping support. So it connects at the tip of the triangle at the right side. It's very important you guys understand that. So how do we measure this? We measure this by taking the height from the horizontal resistance down to where the price reversed. Then you drag this and drop it. So don't mind this. I'm using this is different from the trend line. So when you drag and drop, it will give you the targets where you can split into 2 or 3 places to get the final target. This is pretty straightforward since you guys can see it. Just try as much as possible to watch the video I did on the ascending triangle chart pattern. So why the last one is FTT prep. Okay, so now I'm going to explain this. Let me delete this. I'm going to explain this very well. This is not a cup and handle, and I see a lot of you make mistake by calling this cup and handle. You cannot call this a cup and handle. Why? Because the cup itself must have a curved bottom, and the handle must have a curved bottom. You don't have a cup that has a pointed bottom. So at this point, we'll call this an ascending triangle chart pattern. First thing first, what you're going to look for is horizontal resistance here, which is very, very important. Horizontal resistance and up sloping support. Up sloping support here. So this is up sloping support. This is up sloping support. Now this is a fresh chart I'm doing. The BNB, the ETH, and the BTC, I've done that before. So I'm just doing this. So this, to take the targets, we're going to take the height of this from the top here down to this level, drag this and drop it at the top of this. So now I'm going to drop this line to see the final target here, and we're going to split this into 1 and 2. So 3 different targets I'm looking at. So first thing first, we need to pay attention to this, the resistance here, resistance. So price has to move above this to break these 2 different resistance so that we can get new prices coming in. So let me see if I can see anything happening on the daily time frame. Okay, nothing really much happening here. Just bounce at the support here. So we'll focus mainly on the 4 hours time frame, which gave us that perfect level of pattern, which is your horizontal and your resistance level. So these are the charts I'm looking at on BTC, ETH, BNB, and FTT. One of the most important thing we need to know is try as much as possible to understand how these chart patterns work. Because most times when you get a big drop like this, you take note of that. The next one will be a little bit higher, which is forming an up sloping support. So once you understand how these chart patterns work, you would definitely be ahead of the market to make some profit. So guys, if you have any question, do well to chat me up on Telegram. The link is in the description below. And if you want to join my Signal group for more updates on BTC chat, I do constant update on BTC. Do well to join my Signal group. The link is also in the description below. So guys, happy trading and enjoy the rest of your night.